Okay, a quick tutorial as to how to create Gmail groups within your Gmail, and then we'll do one later on how to create mail groups in Google Groups, which is quite a bit more complicated. This one in Gmail is pretty easy. Okay, within your Gmail account, what you want to do is click on the top left-hand side. You've got the word mail, click mail, change that to contacts. Once you've done that, you'll see the district directory, which is everyone from administrators all the way down to students. But you're going to want to create your own group. So down here at the very bottom, click where it says new group. You'll want to go ahead and put in the title of whatever you want your group to be. I'll use test group 1. Click OK when you are done. Then you'll see your group pop in here in the list of your contacts. Click on the name of the group and you'll see you have no contacts here. There are actually two ways to go about adding people to your group. The first one is the easiest, being the plus sign up here by the little guy up here. When you click on that, you'll be able to start typing in people's names, and I'll just throw in a few that I know right offhand. Notice what I'm looking for is accounts that have the aldinisd.org Gmail behind it, because you're going to type in a few people, and what you'll see is they won't have an email. You'll see their name, but not the email address. Keep in mind, you don't want the Aldine-ISD anymore. So if you put somebody's name in, but the Gmail account doesn't show up, you'll click add when you're done. What I'm referring to is if you get somebody down here in the bottom, when you pull up their name, it's a correct name, but the email address isn't there. Those are individuals who haven't gotten into their Gmail accounts yet. So this is a problem right now while we're in the process of transferring from Lotus to Gmail. Next year, when we're completely on Gmail, this shouldn't be an issue. But if that issue does arise, just keep in mind that just because you've got their name there doesn't mean they're in your group. The address has to be there as well. So if you do come up with someone whose email doesn't pop up, here's the way you go around that. The second way to do that is go to the directory, and then this pulls up every single email address in the district, every single one. So what you'll do here is type in the name of the person you want, and you may have a list of individuals and pick the correct person. Here you'll pull them up and there is no choice. Their email address will pop up here. So what you want is here where you see the 3 people, it's going to be a group. Then you just go to the group you created, put a check mark there, click apply, and then they will pop into the group. So when I come back to test group, I'm back to having that individual there. So what I've got here is, if I go to Miss Nash's account, it's actually got this one and the correct directory address down on the bottom. So even though it's showing the old one, that's a connected profile, her correct email is down there. So when I come back to test group, at that point, now you'll have the person's name that you want and their accounts, and that'll get you taken care of. So that's the first way to take care of creating a group, and it is the most simplest. Now these will work when you're sending an email. Let me just go back to mail. So if I do a compose and I type in test group 1, I click it, and there's the 4 people there. So that's what you're going to want to do there for your Gmail contact groups. Now this also comes in handy in your Google Drive. So if I've got a document here and I want to share this, I can do that here in Drive with the group you created there. So test group 1, and there's my 4 people again. So I've got them that way. So that same group that you created in Gmail will also work in Drive, but it will not work in Calendar. So if I've got a calendar I want to share with someone, if I put in the name of my group, which was test group 1, it will not pop up. So this is the one limitation that you've got with creating a group in your contacts. Okay, so if you're okay with using it in Gmail for composing messages or in Drive for sharing something, then that's the one you want, your contacts. However, if you want to use one that you can use for calendar, then you have to go into Google Groups. And to be honest, this is a little bit on the complicated side. You might want to get some help from your tech spec. What happens here is, I was under the impression that only tech specs had access to this, but everyone actually does. What you would do is you would create a group, and this is a lot more permanent. So if I call this one test group 1, this actually becomes a full-fledged group here. So I create the group. Then you'll click OK. And at that point, you're going to come here to Manage. Click on Manage here, and you're going to want to direct add members. So pretty much the same way we did the other one. And put Mr. Gunther. I believe I had Miss Clay. I believe I had Bradley Kaplan. And I think I had Miss Nash. And there you'll notice that it's the I-ISD. So in this particular group, it does get a lot more specific. So when you've got them there, I click Add. And so now you've got your test group 1. You want to show the members, there they are. So now that I've got that particular group, if I go back to this calendar, and of course that will work with Gmail and Drive, but I'm just wanting to show how that will work with calendar now. So if I do test group 1 this time around, oops, sorry about that. Let me make sure I didn't click done. That's why. Sorry about that. So now that I go to my groups, which I've got a bunch, there's test group 1. So now I should be able to, let me try that one more time. And go back to the calendar and start from fresh. So in sharing, that should pop up this time. Oh, I'm sorry. It does take a little bit of time for that to happen, but just to let you know, when you've created those, and I'll just use one for an example. I'll use, let me pick one out here, D9 Tech Committee, one that I've created, and let me just show how that works out. So I totally forgot, guys. So there's an example there. So the D9 Tech Committee, I just forgot that this does take a little bit of time for that to go through the system. So given enough time, that group that we just created in Google Groups, which is that, this is what this is, will allow you to do that. So let me come back there. So there you can see that the group that I've created in Google Groups will allow you to do that in Calendar. That is the one exception. I'm going to cancel that out because I don't want that. So again, you've got your mail contacts. This will work for creating, composing messages in Gmail. It will work for sharing in Drive, but it will not work for sharing a calendar. The group, which I'll show you how to get to in a second, when you've created and given it time to go through the system, will allow you to use that in Gmail, Drive, and Calendar when we go through sharing it. Again, this is my example of how that'll pop up. So there you go, having what you need to create the two different kinds of groups. Again, the easiest one is contact groups here, or to go through Google Groups. And let me show you how to pull this up. Everyone has, let me get rid of that, in your Gmail or Drive, either one of those two, you're going to have an app launcher up here on the top right hand side. If you click that, that's where your Google Groups is. When you click that there, that's where you'll have access to creating a group, as we showed in the video. I hope that helps. I recommend this part for doing it easier. This is a bit more complicated. If you need assistance with this, ask your tech spec, and should work from there. Hope this helps. Thanks a lot.